Welcome to Let's Break Serpent Isle. In the previous episodes, we broke out of Moonshade using a bug in the Silver Seed and some loaves of bread, robbed the Dream Realm, and carried out Schrodinger's thought experiment with the population of Form. In the final part of the series, we're going to save what's left of the world, but first we need to visit the Temple of Discipline. For the test of discipline, we need to get drugged up. A good source of potions is the mage in the Silver Seed. As she puts them down, you can steal them away without her screaming for your blood. You can also cast Vibrate to get a job lot of the potions out of her. I got enough potions to build a large set of steps in quite a short space of time. The present task, however, will naturally take longer as we are only interested in yellow potions. Obtain about 9 yellow potions by whatever means you see fit, and beam off to the Temple of Discipline. If possible, shut down the security system. There is a user manual in the main study upstairs. When you're ready, go down the central stairwell and go to the test of discipline. If you have Boyden, the acid may cause him to explode, so get him to leave temporarily. Move in short but energetic bursts. Use the longest mouse pointer to cover as much ground as you can with each step, but after each step check your health and take drugs as necessary. At the foot of the stairs, it is very nasty. Try to avoid stepping there, as you can get onto the lowest step sideways, which is probably easiest. If this seems too much like work, a quick and easy alternative is to just stack the potions against the wall and climb around to the stairs. Get 2 buckets of discipline, then save, just in case the game crashes, and go downstairs. Dissolve yourself in the acid, and then make your way to the nearest Serpent Gate, probably Vasculio's. Beam off to the Temple of Tolerance and go in. Lower the drawbridge and talk to Mortegro. Mortegro is a bit of a wimp, but he looks impressive, especially when given the Black Sword or something, and he has one overriding factor. In his backpack is the Deathbolt spell from Ultima 7. Drop his scythe and enter combat mode so he wields this forbidden spell. Break off combat and transfer the spell to the avatar. Pass the axe of killing, or whatever your current weapon is, to someone else. If he leaves the temple, he will be annihilated by unknown forces, but there is a simple way around this. Ask Mortegro to join your party, and then, without leaving the temple, strip off all his clothes so he dies of exposure. Carry his body out of the temple and go to Hazard's place to get some guani fur, boots and other paraphernalia to keep the Death Mage alive. When you're ready to have him join, use the hourglass and back he comes. Make sure that you do not go anywhere near the Temple of Tolerance or he will be utterly destroyed. Give Mortegro the Belt of Strength and some magical armour so he has a fighting chance. Now go to the Temple of Emotion. Find the pillar in the middle of the room and zap it with Deathbolt. Don't bother talking to the spirit. Grab the orbs and get the Water of Emotion. Find a Serpent Gate and go to the Temple of Enthusiasm. Enter the doors and look at the maze. Notice there is a U-shaped piece of floor 1 story above your head. Double right-click on this and the avatar will automatically find his way there. Go up the stairs and head southwest. Find the little pulpit overlooking the magic lens and double-click on the roof below to your left. Once again, the avatar should find the way all by himself. If not, try breaking it down into smaller journeys. Go down the concealed stairway to your right and find the brass door. Go in and get the water. Also, take the Hammer of Deadification and give it to someone else as their primary weapon. Once again, let the avatar take the strain as you cross back out of the maze and make your way to the Serpent Gate. We should now have all the water necessary, so we must use it. Beam off to Vasculio and grab the guani horn. Then cross the bridge to the guani territory. Find the Death Temple and resurrect Gwenno. Throw a bucket of water over her, discipline, and she should stop being crazy. Unfortunately, she is in the wrong place, so unresurrect her and carry the body to Monk Isle, where she can be installed in the library. At the monastery, talk to Gwenno again and pursue all conversation threads to find out about the soul trapping. Now, go down to the Serpent Gate and beam off to Monitor or the Bull. Find the Powder Maker's house in the northeast and talk to the false Chaos Hierophant. Go back to the nearest gate and beam off to Moonshade. Use the Philanderer's Fiend on Fedabiblio and then talk to Tauricio. Give him the wand in exchange for the Soul Prism spell. Talk to Ducio and get 3 gems made. Once you have done this, put the 3 on the ground and cast Make Soul Prism on them all. Now water them with emotion, enthusiasm and tolerance. Put them somewhere and pour the buckets of water over your followers' heads. Logic for YOLO, discipline for Dupré, ethicality for Chamino. After this, you should get sucked back to Monk Isle for the second coming of Zenka, Warrior Priestess. Talk to Zenka about sacrifice, and she should tell you to kill yourself. Obviously we don't want that, so we're going to sacrifice Dupré to Baal instead. Get the tooth off Zenka as well, using the keyword instructions. Go to Monitor via the gate. Just outside the gate, turn Dupré into chowder using the Mind Blast spell. Leave the body where it is. Go into the crematorium, and Thoxa should create a copy of Dupré for you. It is possible that your new Dupré will be left catatonic, and stands there mindlessly by the wall, incapable of speech, movement, or even being killed. If this happens, try turning the party off and on again by killing the avatar. Cast telekinesis on the lever, and the Dupré will give some spiel before spontaneously combusting. Pick up the urn and go back to the crypts to Dupré's body. Have Thoxa resurrect the real Dupré and give the ashes of the fake to him. Now we go to the Temple of Chos, or Chaos if you prefer. The cow place south of the bull is probably the quickest way. Once in the complex, keep going downstairs until you can't anymore, and then keep going upstairs until you find the brass double doors. Open them and find the ritual chamber that someone helpfully designed in the off chance that Chaos ever got broken. Put the prisms on the proper pedestals and the Cup of Dupre on its pedestal. Force the bent serpent stick into the hole and watch the fireworks.
Avatar, it is I, Dupre. My soul is fused with the Serpent of Chaos. I'm keeping it from attacking me, but I do not know how much longer I can hold out. Quickly, let us go to Sunrise Isle.
Do not forget to take the bent serpent stick back afterwards. Zenka appears and gives you a sword, but there is something she forgot. The Blackrock Order Serpent. The quickest way out is probably the Suicide Express. Find a monster, any kind of foe will do, and cast Mass Death. This should reduce you to about 2 health points. It won't work at all without a foe on screen, mind. Cast Mind Blast on yourself a couple of times and die. You should now be resurrected in Moonshade, which is just where we want to be. Find Stefano and talk to him. He will ask you to rescue him from the Death Knight. Agree and the knight will appear. Point and laugh as it kills him. Then destroy it and take Stefano somewhere quiet so Thoxa can resurrect him via the hourglass. Take the key he gives you and get the serpent stick from the shed in the western part of the island. Then go back to the Serpent Gate and beam to the Isle of Crypts using Zenka's teeth. At the Isle of Crypts, just go in and get the eye. Don't bother with the Great Balance Heffalump. Now beam back to Sunrise Isle one final time. Go straight through all the doors and up to the Balance Serpent. Now shove the eyes on the altar, stick the serpent sticks in their respective holes, and the serpent should begin to sway drunkenly. Summon a whole pack of wolves using the claw and the urn. Now there's something you see every day. Wield the serpent sword that Zenka gave you and do the Balance Serpent. Cue Telecine, roll credits, end.
There, we are done. Balance is restored. Serpent Isle, Britannia, your Earth, the entire universe, all are saved. Worry not about your friend Dupre. He is one with us and content. Goodbye, Avatar. We thank you. Well, Avatar. You have managed to thwart me once again. By restoring balance where once chaos reigned, you have saved your cursed world. But now here you are, poised at the edge of eternity. Where would you go? Back to Britannia? To Earth? Perhaps you would join me in another world altogether. We do have a score to settle.
Right, I hope it recorded all that. Right, Serpent Isle, revised version. Now, let's step into the Twilight Zone. Head off to Gorlab Swamp. Find the deer south of the swamp and kill 3 of them, filling your pockets with at least 14 pieces of fresh venison. Give these to your followers. Make sure you have among your followers, not including the Avatar, approximately 20 stones of spare carrying capacity. Just before you enter the swamp, cast Serpent Bond. Immediately press I and transfer the spellbook Ring of Shal and the ritual blooding device to derp. You will now turn into a snake and your followers will go away. Slither into the swamp and enter the dream world. Gold bars and lightning whips are great for interior decorating, but what we're really here for is something much more audacious. Head to the arena marked Dreams of Your Enemies. When Batlin appears, vibrate him so that he drops the Serpent Sword. The next step is rather delicate. We need to build a tower of venison inside the arena, which is a whole story below us and is out of reach. To start with, drop a piece of meat or whatever next to the banister, making a step so that you can climb up onto the banister. Save at this point, in case several attempts are required for what follows. The precise placement of the objects in the following steps is very important, so we suggest that you copy the positions in the screenshots as exactly as you can. Cast Create Ice twice on the floor of the arena, just next to the space below the banister, creating 2 ice blocks next to one another. Now make a vertical stack of 7 pieces of venison atop one of the ice blocks. Place 6 pieces of venison in a stack right next to it. Wait about 30 seconds and the ice blocks will spontaneously vanish. Now we must remind the game that the insides of 3 dead deer are simply floating in mid-air. Climb off the banister, pick up the single piece of meat that you used as a step, and move it around the floor a couple of times. This should be sufficient to remind the game that raw meat wasn't meant to fly, and it will duly correct the situation by whacking the venison down to the floor of the arena. If the positioning of the ice blocks and the venison was just right, you should be able to walk the avatar off the banister and onto the stack of the 7 pieces of venison. Move the avatar down onto the shorter stack of venison in such a way that nobody else is standing on the taller stack. Your followers seem to find walking along the banister quite difficult, so this shouldn't be hard to arrange. Pick up 2 pieces of venison from the top of the smaller stack, reducing it to a stack of 5. Step onto the stack of 5 pieces of venison. Take 2 pieces off the stack of 6, reducing it to a stack of 4. Step down again and shorten the pile of 5 to a pile of 3. Proceed in this manner until you have a single piece of venison next to 2 pieces, one on top of the other. Step down onto the floor of the arena and pick up the Serpent Sword. It is now time to leave the Dream Realm. We could reverse the process of climbing down by rebuilding the meat stack step by step and then climbing back onto the banister, but there's not an awful lot of point. Instead, make sure that the avatar is carrying nothing. Move every item which you have even the slightest interest in keeping into your follower's possession, most especially the Serpent Sword, Spellbook and Ring of Shal. Nothing which the avatar is carrying will survive the next few moments. Now, bleed the avatar to death with the ritual blooding device and rejoice. You will wake to discover that the weapons and heaps of gold you dreamt about have become real. Since we have the Serpent Sword in hand to boot, a host of irksome chores like resurrecting Gwenno, trapping the Banes, and communing with the Great Chaos Hierophant are now just problems for some other guy to deal with. Thanks to Night Spirit Dragon for originally suggesting the block of ice technique. Cast Vibrate on chickens. The meat and bones will be sucked out through the beak. Not a pleasant thought. The chicken, however, takes no notice and goes about its business. Put the chicken's interior in your food bag. This also works quite well on cows. The 5 legs dribble incontinently out of the body as it wanders around. Go past, and Thoxa will spring Dupre out of jail and bring him to you by some kind of astral travel. Using the fountain to the left of the double doors, put all of your followers to sleep. Run up to Batlin and face him alone. If a follower wakes up and joins you before you reach Batlin, reload and try again. Let the end of the world commence.
Obey me.
Take Batlin's teeth and the Blackrock serpent and walk back to the double doors next to Selena's corpse. The Banes will all be curled up asleep here in a little heap. Use the hourglass to summon Thoxa. She will give her little spiel again, and Dupre, Yolo and Chamino duly pop up out of nowhere to join your party. Massacre the sleeping Banes and put their corpses in your backpacks, if they will fit. It is possible to resurrect Selena using the hourglass. This is not recommended as she will become extremely confused. If you bring her back to Monitor for the resurrection, she will try to get you to take her to the Royal Mint. However, she will keel over dead a few moments later. If you resurrect her within the Shrine of Order, she will utter the fatal words, "I want to be alone," and locks up the game. Now, to advance the plot, we need to find and defeat the Banes. The fact that we did this already and have been carrying their bodies around in a bag for several hours is apparently neither here nor there. Note that when a Bane dies, the corresponding party member will also die, and the two coalesce into a single corpse. When all three Banes are dead, use the hourglass. Dupre, Chamino and Yolo will spring back to life and join your party. When you talk to them, they rave and gibber, but they seem content to follow you around, fight your enemies and carry your possessions for you. If anything, it's actually an improvement on their usual personalities. The Death Bolt spell will slightly drain the Avatar's health every time it is used. This can lead to weird effects in which the Avatar's health wraps around to 127 health points, or even minus 127, stunning the Avatar for a huge period of time. Drawbacks aside, it's still good for a laugh. Well, that's the end of the series. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Ethicality for Chamino. Ethicality for Chamino. And you obviously we don't want that, so we're going to sacrifice Dupre to Baal instead. Use the Philanderer's Fiend on Fedabiblio, and then talk to Tauricio. We should now have all the water necessary, so we must use it. We should now have all the necessary water. Carry his body out of the temple. In the final part of the series, we're going to and head towards the double doors. Walk behind them, walk towards them, beam off to the Temple of Tolerance and go in. Lower the drawbridge and talk to Mortegro.